So, last video I uploaded was of the little dyno day we had. Car did pretty well. Put down 310 horse and 278 torque. So, yeah, that's a pretty good start. I'm thinking I'm probably just going to leave it there for a while and just enjoy the car. Actually, as I said, 310 was a good start, but it's going to need a little more than that. You know, especially with the built engine, you know, the forged pistons, forged rods, and all that fun stuff. The engine, I believe, can definitely take a lot more than 310. I'd be happy, I think on the street, probably be happy around like 350-ish. I wouldn't mind seeing at least one 400 dyno pull. If you look at the dyno chart, I'll probably insert it somewhere in the video. You can see horsepower starts to fall off after 6,000. It really shouldn't happen on these engines. I mean, the horsepower should just continue to kind of climb linearly, or at least level off. It definitely shouldn't fall. So, I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'm thinking intake manifold, possibly exhaust manifold, maybe AR on the turbo. It's a .63 AR, or .63 AR on the exhaust side. That should be more than enough for 300 horse. You know, it shouldn't be impeding anything. So I'm thinking it's probably the intake manifold. So yeah, we got the factory intake manifold. It's, you know, a dual runner design. It's got the butterflies inside to switch between short and long runners. It's gutted, but it's not a very good flowing design. So what I've acquired is a GTX manifold. I've already painted it in the wrinkle black. Keep the theme going. Acquired this from a fellow BP enthusiast. So I believe, you know, I couldn't find it. I was trying to find it online, trying to find maybe on Club Protege or something like that, but I believe switching from the NA style to this style usually nets somewhere around 30 to 40 wheel horse. This is a lot. It's a big deal. You know, that would pretty much put me at my goal just by swapping the intake manifold. I'm not going to be that optimistic, but either way, it's a good swap. An even better swap is the GTR manifold, but they're like unicorn farts and they're impossible to find. And if you do find one, you're going to pay out of the ass for it. So GTX it is. If I decide to go beyond, oh yeah, this manifold's also been ported. It's been cut, and the runners have all been ported from inside and out. So, I believe this, on the car, this was previously on. The car put down 410 horse. So, I'm certain, I know it'll flow at least that much. If I want to go beyond 400, there's other options, but I'm not there yet. I think I'll be good at 400, at least until I do a transmission swap. So that's the goal for tonight, is to get this guy on to the engine. Should be fairly straightforward, but while I have the intake manifold off, I'm going to install this guy. And this is just, it's an automatic rack. Couldn't find a manual one, but I went ahead and found the remanufactured rack. Welding the spool on mine didn't really help, because I believe mine just has a flat spot somewhere on the pinion. As you can see, there's a pretty good amount of play in the steering. It's really sketchy when the car's torque steering and you're trying to counter and you've got that fairly large amount of play in the steering wheel. So I know it's in the rack. I'm going to go ahead and try and replace the rack while I have the intake manifold off, because obviously with the manifold off, but yeah, with the manifold off, you've got all types of room for activities in there. So now would be the time to replace the rack. So while I try and get this off, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to prep this, because I have to install this little block off plate here. So I gotta put some silicone on there. And while that's drying, I'll remove that manifold. and hopefully get it all back together tonight. I doubt it, but be worth a shot. So yeah, for something like this, I would normally use like a blue RTV, but I don't have blue RTV, so I will be using what I have, which is gray RTV, I think, somewhere around here, maybe. If I can remember what I did with it. That's annoying. Alright, so I bought a new tool. Got it down at the Hazard Fraught. Should make this job a little bit easier. I didn't even know they made these, but super cool little palm air ratchet. It's low on torque. I think it's only capable of like 20 foot-pounds max, but it spins about twice as fast as a standard air ratchet. So it should make getting the intake off a little bit less of a hassle. So yeah, let's see how this guy works. Seems like Alright, so got the injectors out. It's giving me a lot more space in there to get to the bolts. I didn't want to take the injectors out, but it's just a lot easier to get the intake off without the injectors in. Which I'm probably going to have to get new injector O-rings, but we will see. So now I'll go ahead and try and zip the intake off. Alright, so there we can see a kind of side by side of the two manifolds. Like I said, you can see this one's kind of a long runner design, but it also has, let's see if I can remember exactly how it's set up. It's a set of butterflies that sit in between here. So you got your long runners, and then you have kind of short runners, but it's weird the way it's set up. Yeah, anyways, it's not the best design, because they're not true short runners. There's a kind of a bypass, whatever, weird. Sorry, out of breath. So anyways, here's a new one. Very simple design, just fairly short runners. Nice size plenum. So we'll get that guy on there. But before we get that on there, I gotta get that steering rack out. This is a bigger job than I thought it was gonna be. So, once again, not going to record the whole thing because I just kind of want to get it done. So, I'll check back in a few. So yeah, it's just... don't want to get demonetized. Oh wait, I'm already demonetized. I want to get hit with a copyright infringement. So anyways, you can see in there, there's this little this little guy right here, this bolt, is what connects the steering column to the steering rack. And it's a Torx, I believe it's a, I think it's a T45. Yep, T45. So, yeah, T45 to get that off. So I'm going to go ahead and break that loose and try and separate the column from the rack, which can be kind of difficult, but not impossible. Alright, so got the steering knuckles out. So now you just have to take these bolts. There's a bolt there. Well, there's two bolts, one on top, one bottom. And there's one, you can barely see it, but yeah, two more over there. Take my word for it. And then I should be able to remove the rack. Alright, so I'm not going to do what I did to this rack, to this one, where I pulled the spindle out, or the spool valve, or spool whatever, and welded it. Really wasn't worth the effort, didn't fix my problem. I think one of the issues I had with this was this guy was loose, and this controls tension against the pinion, against the gear doodad, and that was pretty loose. I think it had backed its way out. I think that was causing a lot of slop, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw this new one, or remanufactured one, in. Like I said, I'm not going to break this one down. It's got a little bit of fluid in it. Should be fine. I squirted a little bit of grease in there, but I didn't want to put too much grease in there since I'm not taking the seals out. I don't want the seals to cause it to bind or anything. So, I'm going to go ahead and try and get that in, and probably call it a night. Maybe finish up tomorrow. Alright, so, day 2. Got this. Alright, so I got the new steering rack in, or the remanufactured steering rack. Still gotta get everything attached all the way, but there's still a little bit of play, but not nearly as much play as there was before. So we'll consider that a success. Gotta realign it. Maybe I'll record that. The intake manifold is not on, it's just resting there for right now, because I wanted to test fit it. It's a good thing I did, because it turns out the throttle body is in a different position and this coupler isn't going to work. It's a 90-degree coupler and it puts everything in the wrong spot. So I went ahead and ordered a 45-degree 3" to 2.5, and that should be here tomorrow, hopefully. And I say hopefully because Friday I'm hoping to go to the drag strip. I'm not going to be trying to set any particular time goal. I'm just kind of going for fun and to see what the car has. So I'm not going to be launching it hard because I don't want to break it. I'm not going to be running slicks or anything, so pretty sure my ET is going to be pretty bad. But like I said, it's just for fun. So I'm going to go ahead and finish getting the steering rack all buttoned up and do a little driveway alignment, maybe film that, and then work on getting the intake on, as far as I can get until that coupler comes in. But should go alright. God, there's so much more room in here. Alright, now let's try a quick test for fuel leaks. Surprisingly, don't see any leaking. That's a good thing. Also, word to the wise, if you're looking for fuel leaks, don't go sticking your stupid face right up next to the injectors where you expect the leaks at. Alright, so final update for tonight. Car's basically back together, except for this guy. Still waiting on that to come in. Hopefully it's big enough. Says it's 4-inch legs, 4-inch on one side, 4-inch on the other. So it should, hopefully it fills the gap. Otherwise I gotta figure something else out. But yeah, she should be ready to rock for Friday. Oh, that's super tight. That's so much better than clickety clink I had before. So, hopefully test drive tomorrow. Alright, so car's back together. This coupler came in. I'm not a big fan of it being blue, but it'll work for now. I'll replace it with a black one later. I also don't really like this crease. I think I can get rid of this crease if I were to slide the coupler up and shorten this end, but I was really hesitant to cut any, too much off, so I think this crease will be fine. I mean, I don't think it'll collapse on me or anything. Hopefully, I mean, it shouldn't. I mean, as long as it's under boost, it shouldn't collapse. Yeah, so basically I just need to take her for a test drive. Anyways, yeah, on to tuning. Let's see how this goes. Alright, so got this set up and on. Just gonna recalibrate the what do you call it? Throttle positioning sensor, just because the linkage is a little different. Alright. Need burn. Did it not calibrate it? I don't know why it does that sometimes. So that looks good. Sorry, I need both. Oh, control log. So let's see how she starts. That's a pretty smooth start. Alright, so I know you really can't see anything and you probably can't really hear me very well, but so basically what I'm going to do is, one, make sure that the car drives straight since I installed that new steering rack. The second thing I'm looking for is to see how much the VE table needs to be retuned with the new intake. Okay, seems to be going pretty straight. That other steering rack was definitely kinky as hell. This feels like it almost has power steering. Sounds stupid because I'm not really like getting on it or anything, but the car already feels like way more responsive. So yeah, back from the test drive, pretty successful. Nothing broke. I think I didn't have to do very much tuning. The top end of the only thing that was really affected was the wide open throttle. It was a little rich, but that's an easy enough fix. I mean, it's a pretty simple adjustment. So, and rather be rich than lean, because, you know, richer safer. But yeah, I think it's ready. So hopefully tomorrow. And I turned into Noob Sabat there for a second. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow will be a fun day without any incident. Like I said, I'm just going to take it very easy at the track. I'm not going to launch the car, or at least not launch it very hard. Fucking mosquitoes. But yeah, I think she's ready to go. So, adios.